Hello, everyone. I'm Hayden Hidlay, along with my partner Trent Hidlay. The flood that we investigated was the Bhutan flood of 1994.
On October 7, 1994, there was a partial breach of the moraine along the edge of Lake Hidlay Show, which caused this major glacier lake outburst flood. A glacier lake outburst is a catastrophic discharge of water from glacial lakes. When a glacier retreats, it leaves a large reservoir of water behind. The walls of these reservoirs become structurally unstable and weak, and they undergo lots of changes. This increases the chance of the reservoir walls breaking, and this causes the sudden discharge of a large quantity of water. It is important to note that more glacial lake outbursts will occur due to climate change. The walls of the glacier lakes are known as moraines, and they act as a barrier to the water reservoirs. When these are breached, it results in the water flooding. As you can see in the photo, in this flood, at the southwest edge of the Hidlay Show Lake, the moraine breached, causing the water to flood into the Thort-Hormy Glacier Lake. Other weather patterns that contribute to glacier lake outburst floods are glacier and snowmelt along with more rainfall, and it expands the lakes, making them more unstable. The glacier outburst floods could happen at any time and are happening at an increased rate because of the changes in climate. These floods are a regular occurrence in the Lulana region.
The flooding covered close to 100 kilometers and had a depth level of 23 meters. Top velocity of the flood was approximated at 12 kilometers per hour. After the lake outburst during the night of October 6th, the flood traveled through the night until it reached Punakha at 7 o'clock a.m. The map shows the river systems in the Himalayan region. The flood started in Tanza, which joined the Pho-Chu River, which eventually ran into Punakha and joined the Mo-Chu River. There have been a few lake outbursts in the Himalayan mountains, and without human intervention, there are numerous risks for flooding of current glacial lakes like Thort-Hormy. During one of these floods, the region impacted is the Lunana Basin. Since it is a mountainous region, it is not as densely populated but still contains numerous villages in its flood paths. The frequency of these floods will increase as climate change keeps progressing. The melting of glaciers create larger lakes. The lake walls are not strong enough to support this much water, which breaks the walls and causes flooding. Anthropogenic factors definitely played a role during this flood. The increasing frequency of floods in this region from the 80s to 90s goes along with climate change, which is aided by human pollution and bad environmental practices. This flood was regarded as the most catastrophic flood ever recorded in terms of magnitude and damage caused to the people and property in Bhutan. The flood killed 21 people and 600 others were affected by it. The flood caused architectural damage as well, affecting around 90 homes and destroying several water mills and bridges. Most of the damage was caused by logs that were carried in the flooded waters. Animals were also affected. Many grazing yaks were killed and thousands of fish died as a result of lack of oxygen in the muddy floodwater. 965 acres of pasture land was washed away and covered with sand and silt. The combination of fish and log loss caused economic impacts in the region. It took more than 10 years for the fish population to recuperate. As a result, the warning systems installed for the flood cost $4.2 million.
After this event, the people of Bhutan and its government took action. Until this flood, the people of Bhutan had little to no knowledge about the dangers of glacier lake outburst floods. The first thing they did as an effort to mitigate and adapt to these floods was to set up a manual early warning systems in the Lunana region where the glacier lake outbursts were occurring. These warning systems use land and satellite imagery. They measure water levels and issue warnings to the people so they can prepare for the upcoming flood. A number of teams have been assigned to the area to learn and discover new ways to mitigate future flood hazards. In 1998, a joint research team assessed the outburst floods in Bhutan. Then in 1999, another joint research team assessed the geophysical, hydrological, and geological features of the Lunana region to help lead to a solution. The royal government of Bhutan began a project that lowered the water levels in two of the glacier lakes to reduce the chances of an outburst occurring. From 2008 to 2012, they artificially widened the channel of the Thort-Hormy Glacier Lake to help lower the water level and decrease the likelihood of the lake having an outburst. Besides lowering the water levels in the lake and widening the channels, which is the best solution so far, the emphasis on preventing the outburst floods is simply battling the climate change. If we can limit or stop the climate change that is occurring today, the frequency and effect of these floods will diminish.
These are our sources, and we hope you enjoyed the video.